AskReddit. Girls, what was the most obvious hint you dropped and the guy just didn't get it? Literally said I want to be yours and the dude just keeps smiling and goes on about random space facts. That one hurt a bit. What was the coolest space fact? I can't recall. Sorry. I kind of just reevaluated my whole flirting technique after that. Invited him over to watch a movie, eventually laying my legs across his lap and hard flirting. But after 4 movies, I had to finally make the move. A girl came to my house once and spent the night. Around the time for bed, she told me she doesn't sleep with a top on or panties. I told her that's okay, I'll sleep on the couch so she can be comfy. She called me from downstairs later that night and told me she couldn't sleep and she was cold. I figured, well, obviously, you're naked. So I gave her another blanket and went back downstairs. I'm a guy, but I can share my density as a guy that missed the hints. I went to a store where there was a girl I liked in college. We used a small talk while I browsed and never bought anything. Bring a poor college student. This time I came in the store and she said hi and we chatted a bit while I shopped. She complained, I'm going to be home alone tonight. My family is out of town. I replied, oh, that's too bad. She says, I'm off at 5 today. It was 4 at the time. What are you up tonight? I'm up for anything. Oh, nothing. Just sitting at home and watching a movie. My brain must have completely self-destructed because the conversation ended there. I never saw her again after that. She either quit or was avoiding me. I must have been in a daze from school to miss that cue. We were discussing costumes and I sent a picture of me in my bunny suit and said I'd need help out of it. His response was telling me he hoped my roommate was home or that would suck. I had to tell him I was implying I'd like him to take it off me, and it took him a minute to catch up. I had a girl invite me round her house once just to show me her posters. They were all of Harley Davidson motorbikes and she said she's never ridden a Harley before. Awkward silence, and after a few other short bits of small talk I decided to be on my way. 2 years later I'm sitting on the bus and realize what she meant. Holly. Ridden the Holly. My name is Holly. One time a girl straight up asked if I wanted to take my pants off and I didn't get it. I was like, nah, they're actually not uncomfortable at all. Usually when girls ask you to take off your pants, it's for their comfort. No one wants to come in contact with the kind of tough fabric a lot of pants are made of when they're sleeping. Also, always take off your belt. That's just cruel to accidentally poke someone with your belt buckle. I asked a guy on a festival to come take a shower with me. He didn't get it. He just repeated there was only one free shower, and I was like, well, they are big, I'm sure it's fine. And he just looked confused and told me I could go first. We became close friends since that happened about 2 years ago, and this summer I spoke to him about it and he really had no idea. He did the biggest facepalm I've ever seen. I went out of my way to come in early and talk to this guy every day for like a month before someone else told him I was into him. I also repeatedly told him I liked him. He thought I was just being nice. Guy here, but once had a girl drag me into the bathroom while at a college party saying she needed help finding her marker/pen. We didn't find it, and I figured out what was really going on a year later. My fiance thinks leaving my bedroom door open when she spent the night when we were just friends and she lived out of town and there was absolutely no reason for me to think anything romantic was going on was obvious. I got up and closed the door because the act was on and was low-key miffed. Edit. We were friends for a long time before we got together and she had a meeting early in the morning, so I gave her my bed and slept on the couch. She left the door open thinking I would take the hint. Guy here. A girl took my hat off, started running her fingers through my hair, and asked what did I do to get it so smooth. I proceeded to tell her all about the new shampoo I had switched to a month before, until she cut me off. Well, don't leave us hanging, man. What's the shampoo? No head and shoulders. Selsun blue balls. When I was like 15 to 16, this girl from school I had a huge crush on kept inviting me to her house when she was alone, wearing the smallest tops and asking for back massages. I never got the hint. Years later, when I started going out with my now fiancé, that girl's sister tells my GF, hey, my sister had such a crush on him back in school. I was not a bright teenager. 15 to 16-year-old me hates 15 to 16-old you. I'm sure if Emily, from 15 years ago, saw this thread, she'd say, invited this guy to my place after our date. Got him into my room, into my bed. He was just lying there, so I told him my back was feeling sore and asked him if he could give me a massage. His reply, oh, I don't want to crush you with my weight. He was about 170 pounds. Gave up and went to sleep. Truth is, I did get the hint. But at the time I was a virgin, and I was convinced I had an STD. Yeah, good combo. Turns out I didn't have an STD. Virgin with an STD. It's amazing what our teenage minds will come up with to make us even more awkward and weird. Damn toilet seats. I used to be oblivious, probably still am. There was a girl at a local grocery store who was flirting with me, but of course, I didn't get it. After quite a bit of this, I leave town for a few months and we're corresponding via email. I can't remember why, but I was asking her a string of silly questions, like, why is the sky blue? Chicken or the egg first? Where do babies come from? Etc. She answered them all, saving where do babies come from for last, and answered it with, when you get back I'm going to show you. I got that one. A guy I'm currently seeing invited me camping earlier this month. We were cuddling, and I noted how nice the showers are in the bathroom at the provincial park. I said they're really warm and lots of space for 2 people, trying to hint for him to join me for sexy time. This man, without missing a beat, says actually, you could fit like 10 people in those showers. We laughed about it really hard the next weekend, and he said I knew what you were getting at, but my brain just wanted to answer it logically. We were playing Don't Drink and Drive on Mario Kart. Just the 2 of us. I was trashing him, so L gave him a chance by lying sideways across his lap for the entire race. He didn't take the hint. We started dating 2 weeks after that. Friend was complaining he was hot because of his long sleeve shirt. I said, oh, I'm sure you'd be just as hot without the shirt. He was so unaware, but I finally just kissed him. Guy here and been told this by colleagues. Had a date with a girl I kissed at a festival. I got her number after that first kiss and asked if she'd be down to meet in less drunk circumstances. She was. We met, we talked, and I walked her home. She asked me if she could hug me and if I wanted to sleep over. I told her I had a 40-minute drive back home. Now I saw this as an act of politeness. My female co-workers claimed it was definitely more. I still don't know though. Edit. LMAO, this blow up. What a wake up call though. Not a girl, but I was staying a night at a hotel, and the hotel bar had just closed. I went out front for a smoke and start chatting with 2 women. We shoot the sheet for a few minutes and then all head back into the hotel and to the elevator. We get in, they press 15, I press 9, and one of them turns to me and says, I don't suppose there's a secret bar on the 9th floor we can go to? My dumb ass responds, no, but you can grab a cab and be at a bar in 10 minutes. Then the doors open and I leave. Complained I was a bit cold, so he gave me a blanket. I then told him there's space for 2 under the blanket in an obvious flirting tone. He answered with no thanks, I'm not cold. I still tease him with it once in a while. We are married now. Holy shit, I'm mentally slow. I just realized I was him a week or 2 ago. I went on a second date with a girl to a hockey game, and I don't feel comfortable doing touchy-feely stuff until I outright say I'm ready to commit seriously. So halfway through she says, man, it's pretty cold in here, isn't it? And I said no, if anything I'm a little warm. Things went normally for the rest of the game, but afterwards I got straight ghosted LMAO. I couldn't for the life of me figure out why, but that may or may not be it. It could be anything really, but I hadn't connected those dots yet, so I physically facepalmed when the light bulb went off. I once was modeling clothes I planned to take on vacation for my boyfriend. After showing off a couple of outfits, I told him to close his eyes and changed into lingerie. He opened his eyes and I asked him what he thought. His jaw dropped and he said, "You can't wear that outside." I put my clothes back on. OMG, that gave me a good laugh. My buddy in college was stressing over when to make the move to kiss a girl he liked. While we encouraged him to not wait for the perfect moment and just go for it, he admitted he should have tried to kiss her when they were in the shower. This was some years ago. I was 22, had been talking to this guy for a while, and was ready to lose my virginity. I was a college student living at home, but my mom and stepdad were on vacation celebrating their anniversary, and I'd figured this would be the perfect time to make my move. He and I already had a date scheduled, so before we went, I cleaned my room and the entire house from top to bottom, created a chill playlist on my computer to listen to, shaved/waxed every necessary inch of my body from the forehead down, put on sexy underwear, and waited for him to pick me up. We went out to the movies, and when he dropped me off at home, I invited him in, with the added context, and in a leading, flirty tone of voice, that we would be all alone, and had all the time in the world to do whatever he wanted. He said, "That's alright. I'm sure you want to enjoy this time you get without your parents to be alone." He was sure, and he was wrong. I just stared at him for like 10 solid seconds in silence before I nodded, said yeah that's true, and got out of the car. The walk from my driveway to the front door was the real walk of shame, and I hadn't even gotten any good sex out of it. After that, I sat in my very clean house in my sexy underwear, eating pizza and wondering how that could have gone differently. It was my first time trying to seduce a guy into Essex, and it failed miserably. I laughed about it though, and I still laugh about it now. I just figured it wasn't in the cards for me yet. Ended up losing my virginity a few more years later to the guy I'm currently engaged to, so it worked out wonderfully. He's pretty good at picking up what I'm throwing down. Lol. Shaved/waxed every necessary inch of my body from the forehead down. Maybe it was the lack of eyebrows. I'm a guy, but I have a story. A couple of years ago, a cute girl at the cash register in a local supermarket, where I was a regular customer at every night, said to me in a clearly flirty way, with a big smile, "OHHI, though you're not coming today, I'm so happy to see you." Her face was shining when she said this, but the dumbass I didn't realize this, and my response was, "But why?" As I said this, her face went red, and I could hear the glass shatter sound echoing in her. I have other stories too, because usually I get the hints 5 years after they happened. We were playing life, and he was a police officer. The rulies: if you spin a 10, he gets your speeding fines. I literally pulled open my button down and exposed my breasts and said, "What can I do to get out of paying this?" He said, "Ma'am, I'm an officer of the law. Are you trying to prostitute yourself to me?" A couple days of flirting and sexual innuendo later, I literally had to spell out that I was trying to duck him. We've been together 6 years now. He told me my hair looked nice. I said, "Bet it would look nicer with your hands in it." He said, in a very confused tone, "You want me to style your hair?" Edit. Glad one of y'all thought my mixed signals was worth silver. We were talking about canoes and I said, "I'm like a canoe because I'm wet, and you can go inside me," and he said, "Canoes aren't really wet." Edit. Some people think he was rejecting me, but we ended up dating for 2 years.